Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here, and it's time for Talking Albums number 14. And today I'm going to be ranking the studio discography of one of my favorite bands of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Wasp, the American heavy metal band originating on the LA Strip in 1982. The current lineup of the band as it stands right now, you've got Blackie Lawless on vocals and rhythm guitar. He also used to play the bass. Mike Duda currently on bass. He's been in the band since 1997. Doug Blair on lead guitar. Achilles Priester on drums. And some former members of the band include Chris Holmes, Frankie Banali, Johnny Rod, Sted Howland, and Randy Piper, just to name a few. So they have 15 studio albums in total, right? And personally, I don't think they have a bad album in their discography. They have some albums that are a lot stronger than others. And today I'm going to rank them from least favorite to favorite. So basically what I'm going to be doing, the albums that I gravitate towards the least, the ones I listen to the least, they'll be near the bottom of the list, and the ones that I listen to the most and I gravitate towards the most will be at the top of the list, right? So I'm going to start this off with two albums being clumped together. My 14 and 15 are going to be the two Neon God albums. Neon God Part 1, The Rise, and Neon God Part 2, The Demise. Not bad albums. I just think that they don't really stand out in Wasp's discography. It's a fine concept. It's a concept about an orphan boy named Jesse who finds he has the power to manipulate others. It's fine for what it is, but I think in terms of Wasp concept albums, it's definitely the weakest. It's totally not up to the standard that Blackie set when he put out the Crimson Idol in 1992. That being said, some standout tracks from here on both of these albums. I'm just going to lump them together, right? Never Say Die off of Part 2, The Demise, and Sister Sadie and the Black Habits, Asylum Number 9, Running Man, Raging Storm. It's okay. What I'll Never Find is good too. There's some fine stuff on here, but I just feel like they're not as strong as all of the other Wasp albums, right? I just feel like they're the weakest. My least favorites, 14 and 15, Neon God Part 1, The Rise, and Neon God Part 2, The Demise. Coming up next, I'm going to go with number 13, Babylon from 2009. It's a solid album, but it's a bit lackluster at times, right? I don't listen to it all that often. Some standouts here, Crazy, the Deep Purple covered Burn, Babylon's Burning, which is probably the best song on here, right? Awesome lyrics here by Blackie. Just one of the best songs of the modern era of Wasp, I feel. And, altogether, again, not bad, just pretty lackluster throughout, aside from the songs that I mentioned. My number 13, Babylon from 2009. Coming up next, I'm going to go with 2007's Dominator. It's somewhat lackluster at times, I feel. A decent album with some great songs sprinkled throughout here. Some standouts for me, Take Me Up, Burning Man, Heaven's Hung in Black. Then the Heaven's Hung in Black reprise, and to close things out, Deal with the Devil. Fine album. I enjoy it. It's a bit lackluster, like I said, but altogether not offensive to my ears or anything like that, right? Number 12, Dominator from 2007. Up next on my list, I'm going to go with Still Not Black Enough from 1995. I like this album. I like it a lot, actually. I think that's probably the most underrated Wasp album. It's the follow-up to the Crimson Idol, which didn't sell very well in the United States, right? This album didn't chart at all in the U.S., but what can I say? I guess those people just missed out, right? This is really supposed to be a Blackie solo album, but he changed his mind at the last second. And, some standouts for me on here. The title track is great. Black Forever, Scared to Death, Goodbye America, Rock and Roll to Death, I Can't. Fine album. I enjoy it. 1995's Still Not Black Enough, number 11 on my list. Coming up at number 10, I'm going to go with Unholy Terror from 2001. This is the last album with Chris Holmes on guitar. Blackie's lyrics go into painstaking detail about the world's issues and the evil that exists in society. Blackie's lyrics are the best when he's angry, when he feels like he has a political message to spread. And some standouts for me here, Let It Roar, Hate to Love Me, Locomotive Man, Who Slayed Baby Jane, Euphoria, Ravenheart, Evermore, Wasted White Boys. It's all really good. And then, of course, you have the title track, Unholy Terror / Charisma, which is one of my favorite Wasp songs of all time. Just Blackie's lyrics are tremendous. They're some of his finest. Just such an awesome song. And definitely one of my favorite Wasp songs of all time, right? Coming up at number 9 on my list, 2015's Golgotha. There was a long gap between Wasp releases here, right? Between Babylon in 2009 and Golgotha in 2015. A lot of people may have been put off by Blackie Lawless's lyrics on here, right? Singing about his newfound faith, right? Becoming a born-again Christian. I think that, the lyrics don't, tamper my enjoyment of this album at all. I think that there's still some really good stuff on here. Scream, Last Runaway, Shotgun, Miss You, Fallen Under, Slaves of the New World Order, and then to close things out, Golgotha, the title track, which has one of the best guitar solos in Wasp's discography by Doug Blair. Just great stuff on here. Some longtime fans, like I said, were put off by Blackie's change in songwriting and refusing to play several classic songs due to their lyrical content. But I think Wasp still sounds great, and they put on a very solid album at this state in their careers, right? Tamer lyrics and all, it doesn't affect my enjoyment of this album at all. I really enjoy it. 2015's Golgotha. Coming in at number 8, I'm going to go with Inside the Electric Circus from 1986. This is definitely a tamer Wasp album with less profanity. Wasp turning things down a bit here as a result of being targeted by the PMRC. During this time, Wasp was being condemned for their vulgar lyrics by the Parents Music Resource Center, resulting in bomb threats and death threats against the band. It's the first album with Blackie Lawless on rhythm guitar, switching from bass now to rhythm guitar. Lyrics are full of 80s cheese, I think. However, they still produce some very strong material. Some standouts for me: Inside the Electric Circus, the Ray Charles cover, I Don't Need No Doctor, 9-5 Nasty, Restless Gypsy, Easy Living, the Uriah Heep cover, Sweet Cheetah, Mantronic, and King of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a fine album. I think it's still pretty strong, but Blackie has described it in the past as a tired album by a tired band. Coming up at number 7 is going to be KFD from 1997, and I'll take this out of the packaging here. I have my signed copy. I don't like to take it out of the packaging because I'm sick like that, but here, if you can see those autographs, it's pretty cool. Funny story, I actually found this at a garage sale, and I got this for like a garage sale price, right? And I remember walking back to the car, my legs were shaking because I got such a bargain, right? I don't want to cover up the autograph. I'm going to put this back in the packaging. But this is definitely the darkest Wasp album of all time. Blackie reuniting with Chris Holmes to write material, taking a lot from Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson at this point. It's a sick album. It's Wasp's attempt at industrial metal. And, some fans were definitely turned off by the industrial sound of this album, but, I like industrial metal, so this isn't really a problem for me. Some standouts here: Take the Addiction, My Tortured Eyes, Kill Your Pretty Face has some of Blackie's most insane high notes. You and The Horror to close things out. It's the first album with Mike Duda on bass, and Blackie has said he writes music based on how he's feeling in that moment. And, with Chris Holmes and Blackie both going through divorces or bad breakups at this point, that may have had something to do with the dark, angry lyrics on this album. My number 7, 1997's KFD. And my signed copy, once again. Pretty awesome, right? And stay tuned to the end of the video. I've got some more Wasp signed stuff to show you guys, so stick around. Number 6 on my list is going to be Dying for the World from 2002. It's another underrated Wasp album. Many of the lyrics were inspired by the events of the 9/11 attacks. It's an album that was written and recorded in less than a year, which is unusual for a Wasp album. Blackie definitely wanting to get his social commentary out there. Maybe rushing to this album, maybe not. You definitely don't get that impression by listening to it. It's a great album. Like I said, super underrated. And some standouts for me: Shadow Man, My Wicked Heart, Hell for Eternity. Hallowed Ground is one of my favorite Wasp songs of all time. Trail of Tears, Stone Cold Killers, Rubber Man, and then to close things out, Hallowed Ground, the acoustic version, which I love just as much as the original, right? Number 6 on my list, 2002's Dying for the World. Coming up at number 5, I'm going to go with 1999's HELLDORADO. The follow-up to KFD in 97, it's Wasp, definitely trying to make a return to form album, right? Definitely meant to be played loud, super loud, and very underrated in my opinion. A lot of great Wasp deep cuts on here. The title track is great: Damnation Angels, Dirty Balls, High on the Flames, Cocaine Cowboys, Can't Die Tonight, and Hot Rods to Hell. Just really good. Also, my favorite Wasp lineup of all time. You got Blackie, Chris Holmes, Mike Duda, and Sted Howland. Just a really great lineup there. My number 5, cracking the top 5. Maybe an unusual pick for number 5, but not for me. HELLDORADO from 1999. Coming up at number 4, I'm gonna have to go with their second album, The Last Command, from 1985. And their second album, and for a second album, it's a really strong album, right? People talk a lot about sophomore slump albums. That definitely does not exist here. Definitely a lot of really fun songs and some live staples as well, like Wild Child and the insanely fun Blind in Texas. And some other standout tracks here: Ball Crusher, Fistful of Diamonds, Jack Action, Widowmaker, one of my favorite Wasp songs of all time, and Cries in the Night. And of course the title track as well is awesome. There's really good stuff here, and an awesome cover as well with Blackie on the cover. Really good stuff. 1984's The Last Command. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to have to go with the debut. And this album, one of my favorite debuts of all time, right? I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine, The Flame, BAD, School Days, Hellion, Sleeping in the Fire, On Your Knees, Tormentor, and The Torture Never Stops. Really, really strong. I love every song on here, and I think that, you can check out the cover here too. Really cool cover. There's the guys on the cover. And I think that in terms of metal debuts, this definitely should be at the top of a lot of people's list. And unfortunately, it's not, right? Wasp, a very underrated band when looked back upon. And like I said, one of my favorite metal debuts of all time. Definitely should be recognized by more people. Wasp bursting on the scene with this great album in 1984. The debut, my number 3 on my list. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with the Headless Children from 1989. This is Wasp taking a more serious direction, right? Blackie beginning to include social commentary on his lyrics, political commentary as well, and some standouts here. The Heretic, The Lost Child, The Real Me, The Who cover, The Headless Children, Thunderhead, Mean Man, song about Chris Holmes, Neutron Bomber, Forever Free, Man Eater, Rebel in the FDG, just really good stuff. This would be the last album with Chris Holmes on guitar until KFD in 1997. But Chris Holmes definitely going out with a bang here. The Headless Children in 1989. My number 2 on the list. And coming in at number 1, I'm going to have to go with the Crimson Idol from 1992. My favorite album, period, of all time. The greatest thing Blackie Lawless ever did, in my opinion, right? His best work. This is just, every song is tremendous, right? The Invisible Boy, Arena of Pleasure, Chainsaw Charlie is one of my favorite songs ever, right? The Gypsy Meets the Boy, Dr. Rocker is such a good Wasp deep cut. I Am One, The Idol, Hold On to My Heart, and then closing things out with the epic, The Great Misconceptions of Me. It's a tremendous concept. I'm sure you know that if you're watching this, if you're a Wasp fan, you know how great the Crimson Idol is. Just absolutely tremendous stuff. And I told you guys to hang on till the end to see some signed Wasp memorabilia. Check this out. Signed copy of the Crimson Idol on vinyl, original pressing. You can see the autograph right there. And then on the back, I want to be careful with this here. You got red vinyl, right? Blackie Lawless. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to read this. It says, I don't want to be the Crimson Idol. Signed Blackie Lawless. Just awesome, awesome stuff. Definitely a prized piece in my collection. The Crimson Idol by Wasp, my number 1 on the list. And in case you can't tell, I love this album, right? So that'll be it for my ranking. Please let me know what your favorite Wasp albums are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my analysis, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, share this video with your friends, and until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. I'll see you guys later.